welcome to the fourth episode of the Blackout Broadcast. I'm your host, Mike Bellemare. I got one of my co-hosts over here on my right, Jed Staples. Say what's up, Jed. And then over on the soundboard, we got Mr. Sean LaBelle.
Hello.
We're excited. We're excited for this episode today. We're going to name drop, go right into it. So we're going to be at the Tanner Gun Show in Colorado Springs. It's at the Event Penrose Center, 1045 Lower Gold Camp Road, Colorado Springs. That is June 14th, 15th, and 16th, this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have two booths over there where we're going to be debuting EMP Pro. We have lots of cool giveaways. There's going to be a daily giveaway, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Cool survival packs with survival food, life straws, flint sticks, you name it. So we got 3 really cool prizes to give away each day of the event, with a grand prize being given away of a total home package from EMP Pro. That includes a panel, a generator or solar system, and 2 vehicles. To qualify for these prizes and the grand prize giveaway, we need you to sign up, give us your name, your phone number, email address, and subscribe to the Blackout Broadcast. The winner of the grand prize will be announced on Monday, July 1st, on an episode of the Blackout Broadcast. And we'll reiterate this at the show to anyone who's signing up. But if you're in Colorado and you want to check out a really cool gun show, come down to the Tanner Gun Show in Colorado Springs. Free popcorn, by the way. We got a
really good popcorn.
Really good popcorn. We're going to be giving away pounds of it. So we'll all be there. Looking forward to seeing you guys. So come on down, Tanner Gun Show, 14th, 15th, and 16th. So this episode is not going to be your usual episode. We're really excited about the event that we're going to be doing, and so we wanted to kick it off with that, and then just kind of dive down the rabbit hole. Being in the space that we're in, starting EMP Pro, and the why behind EMP Pro is to get as many Americans protected with EMP Shield equipment as we can, with the big goal of EMP Shield putting out a device that protects transformers. We were having this conversation with Andrew from EMP Shield this morning. They don't know exactly how far out that technology is, but that technology is going to be a game changer, and it's something that is going to have to be implemented very quickly across the board in the whole United States. Every transformer is going to have to be protected with this device to insulate our system. I've said it once before, maybe twice before. We're a first world nation with a third world power grid. That's a fact. It's the power grid is the glass jaw of the United States, whether it's taken down by a terrorist threat, EMP, or a CME from the sun. At the end of the day, it is a very fragile piece of American society, and there's just not that much attention put on it. I mean, have you guys heard anything in the media about how sensitive the grid actually is?
They don't want to tell you that.
Oh yeah, they don't want everybody to realize that we're sending trillions of dollars out of the country for a bullshit proxy war.
Shout out Biden.
Yeah,
Sleepy Joe doesn't know where he is.
But so all this money is getting pumped out of the country, and they're not going to tell us officially, but the calculations in the background is like $20 trillion in the last 4 years has been sucked out of this country and sent elsewhere. I mean, you could have taken $1 trillion of that and insulated probably our entire grid system with this EMP Shield protection. So again, we're on this show to say, hey, we're pissed off that all this money's leaving the country and not being put into our infrastructure. Everybody watching this, you should be pissed off too. It's all of this debt is falling on us and our kids. And for what? Like, what are they doing with this money other than lining their pockets?
Well, I was listening to NPR, and they were literally making it like, hey, you might be able to see some northern lights all over the country soon because of these solar storms and the CMEs, literally making it like an exciting addition to a camping trip instead of literally teaching the public about the seriousness of these solar storms and CMEs and what they could do. And then a Smithsonian astrophysicist told Daily Mail that we're on an 11-year solar cycle and we are in for a serious amount of solar storm activity until 2025 and then beyond, bigger than we've seen in 165 years, man. He's saying that there could be a geomagnetic storm that could be larger than the Carrington event. It'll dwarf it, basically.
One of the listeners put a comment on episode 3 that was very insightful, where he said, because of the Carrington event, when that CME hit the Earth, that it weakened our magnetic shield by about 30%, which means that every solar event that hits the Earth after that can cause more damage, because that shield is now down by 30%.
Does it regenerate itself, or do we know?
That's a conversation for, I mean, we could dive into it now, but that's a whole other conversation. That goes into magnetic pole shift, where when that magnetic pole shift happens, and I could be wrong, I'm probably going to get roasted in the comment section here, but when that pole shift happens, that's like the reset of the Earth's magnetic field. So I believe it can reset.
I hope it can.
But the means in which it resets doesn't sound
fun
at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying space weather experts anticipate a direct hit from a bigger solar storm than the Carrington event, which literally smoked wires, like telegraph wires were on fire. So it's going to be soon, and it's going to be way worse. And this is something that they're predicting. I mean, with the data shows that this is going to happen. So, I mean, we have to be ready for a solar minimum and maximum storms,
Which it's like a clicking time clock where we just don't know when that alarm's going to go off. So it's all the more reason to pressure the states, pressure the governments to be putting money into this. I mean, we got the executive order. I mean, I've shown this a few times. Homeland Security put out an executive order basically ordering businesses and civilian populations to start to implement EMP shielding. And they don't just put an executive order together for no reason. So there's reasons behind it, but nobody wants to talk about it. So that's why we're here. We, as a collective, we got to do something. And on our end, EMP Pro, we're already starting to have conversations with power companies and getting the information out about what these products do and how it can help to protect their grid and the longevity of their system. So on our end, we're already starting to rattle some cages and ruffle some feathers to say, hey, this is a real thing. You guys need to put some attention on this, and more importantly, keep money in this country and put it into our grid, not sending it overseas to another country.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to educate the mass. The masses, instead of watching dance videos on TikTok, we need to start talking about you won't have any of that with no electricity.
Yeah, exactly. All of those reels you like to watch.
No more TikTok.
No more
What
TikTok.
a dream.
I know. I would love that.
I mean, everybody's going to be eating cold beans out of a can if we don't do something to insulate the
Sure,
grid.
you'll be eating grass.
I got plenty of that.
Yeah, well, if you want to check out even more information from the astrophysicist, you want to check out dailymail.com. They have a full article about the seriousness of this, and it's not if, it's when. I mean, they're watching the sun with the Hubble telescope, and they're saying that the minimum storms are increasing to what a maximum storm was previously.
Yeah, so go back to the, everyone's like, oh yeah, I can see the Aurora Borealis in Florida.
That ain't normal.
That's not good, people. You should not be able to see the Aurora Borealis in Florida.
Yeah, I mean that's
There's
that's
a reason
literally
why they call it the Northern Lights, not the Southern Lights.
Oh, the Equator Lights. Yeah, it's the Northern Lights. So we're chuckling over here, but at the end of the day, it's a serious thing, and we laugh to keep it light. But this is a very serious problem that the entire globe faces. But let's face it, we live here in America, and we need to do what we need to do to protect our infrastructure. And the big thing with one of these storms coming through is the transformers that it's going to knock out. And a lot of transformers that come into the United States are coming out of Mexico. So
Canada, I think too.
Canada, Mexico, we don't make our own transformers, which is scary, right? In the event that this happens, because if something like this happens, we'll just use Mexico for an example. Mexico is able to get their factory back online. They're not going to send their transformers to us. They're going to be using all of those transformers to get their own grid back online. So the biggest hangup in the system is currently, and you shared this on episode 2, 10 years, right? Roughly 10 years to get
6 to 10 years, depending on the size of the CME or EMP.
Yeah, so we're looking 6 to 10 years
Yeah.
to get transformers up. So wouldn't it make more sense to put money into getting this technology to the manufacturing floor? And not only are we going to protect all of the existing transformers, but think of the amount of jobs that would create. I mean, insulating an entire system that's been here for 100 years is going to take a lot of hands.
A lot of hands, and it could be all American, and it could be, we upgrade our grid to a point where now we are not have a Achilles heel, no matter what, from either an attack or from natural events. I mean, I'm looking at this Sunspot AR3664. It's already larger than the Sunspot from the Carrington event, and this was last week. This picture I'm looking at, it's coming. We need to get ready, you guys. Like, this is not a joke. We need to do something about this.
I mean, the entire globe is sitting on that exponential curve, which is already vertical when it comes to technology.
Mhm.
So the more technology that comes out just fortifies the reasons why we need to be considering these devices as your normal everyday product. I mean, you look at a GFCI in a bathroom, that was written into code because it protects people from getting electrocuted. Well, this device here needs to be written into code immediately and be on every new build for residential and business, as well as being written into code to retrofit, meaning install an existing equipment now. We don't know when the next big Carrington event is going to come, but hitting this solar maximum, all of the solar activity we're seeing, it can happen any moment. So do we sit back and say, well, it can happen any moment, so let's not do anything about it? Or are we going to say, hey, government, hey, state government, this needs to be looked at. Taxpayer dollars need to go into programs and getting the awareness out that this is a real thing. And as a collective, it's going to suck for everybody. So if we know this information, why aren't more people talking about this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's sombering when you think about it. But at
It
the
is.
end of the day, knowledge is power. That's a fact. That's why we're here. This is a very real thing. So we're going to come on every week, and we're going to be talking about how this has to happen. And one of the things that Sean and Jed have wanted to talk about is pole shift. And I mentioned that earlier. So a magnetic pole shift. And if you don't know what that is, you can dive down the YouTube and Google rabbit hole and do a little research on it, and we'll bring you information in future shows. But we have a conglomerate of stuff that we have to deal with living on this little rock spinning around a big fiery ball. And at the end of the day, we're all in it together. But we got to start here. The United States has been a lighthouse for the rest of the world for the last 100 years. With the Industrial Revolution and having that ability to be free, think free, and have capitalism, the United States has brought a lot of cool shit to the table. That's a fact. And right now, the United States needs to be the lighthouse again and show the rest of the world that there's a bigger problem at hand, and we're doing our part, starting here in the U.S., to insulate our systems for ourselves and future generations. Because one solar fart can take us back to the Stone Ages pretty quick.
I mean, just think about in your own life what that would mean. I mean, no electricity whatsoever for a minimum of 6 years. So everything that's powered by electricity is no longer available unless you have a generator that's protected, solar panels that are protected, and so on and so forth. But if the grid is protected, then you're good, man. I mean, you just got to protect your specific unit, car, house,
Houses.
generator.
Yep.
And then you're good, but if the power grid doesn't work, I mean, what are we going to do there? So it needs to be a countrywide event for sure.
And then it goes back to the subject for all of you preppers and guys that are like, well, I have a generator, I have batteries, I have solar panels. that's great. You're ahead of the curve by having
Yeah.
these things in place. However, if the system goes down due to a man-made EMP or a CME by the sun, we've said it before, you're in the same boat as everybody else. So if you own equipment, if you've invested thousands of dollars into portable power, solar panels, inverters, generators, batteries, you need to protect your stuff. You need to protect your panel, because anything hooked to that panel would be toast. So first and foremost, you got to protect the electrical panel in your home base. Then you got to protect your generator and or solar panel, inverter, and batteries, and your vehicle. If you want to
Yeah.
go anywhere, you got to protect the vehicle. So it's a grassroots movement, right? It starts at the individual, your individual home. You've already invested money to be prepared. Now you got to take that last step, is to make sure that an electrical disturbance doesn't take out all of your technology, and that's your phone, that's your freezers, your refrigerators, your lights, your heat. All of that stuff is essential in a survival situation, unless you're going to throw a backpack on and go into the woods, which a handful of you probably will. You go out there and live in a hole in the ground and be okay. But for people with families where you're prepping for multiple people, more than likely in the event of something happening, you're going to try to stick close to home and stay where all your stuff is. Well, you want to make sure everything's protected. And the big push on this is, the more people that are protected and ready for an event like this, the less chaos you're going to have. If you got 1 out of a million people protected, it's not going to do any good. It's going to be total anarchy and chaos. So we're here right now saying that this is a real thing. It's not a matter of if, it's when. We got to start to protect the entire system across the board.
Yeah, I mean that, plus think of farm equipment. I mean, the event in May literally shut down the GPS satellite for farm equipment, to where the equipment stopped at the end of the run harvesting crops and just wouldn't move, because the GPS satellite was smoked by that beautiful aurora. You know, that everyone was like, "Oh gosh, I saw it in Wyoming. It was amazing." But, you know, if that was big enough, no food coming to the stores. You know, that's you know, farmers commenting from the New York Times are saying that this was literally a huge problem for our family and our farm.
You just brought up a really good point, right? All of the farm equipment is smart equipment now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy the software where, just like the Roomba vacuum cleaner in your house, this farm equipment will operate total autonomously without anybody in the cab. And so it's big to protect the farm equipment, but you just gave me a thought that, look at all the trucks on the road. They say that the trucking industry is literally the backbone of the United States.
Yeah.
It moves all the goods, the food, everything. It
Yeah.
moves everything across the United States. So companies like UPS, FedEx, anybody who's operating fleets of semis and independent operators, they have units that you can put in your truck where your truck is still going to start and still going to run in the event of an electrical disturbance.
I mean trains too. Think of a huge liner, semis especially. I mean, it'd be like going back to Stone Ages.
It's everything. The ships, the cargo ships, everything should be protected.
Yeah.
And
Communications is big too. I mean, that's going to be one of the first things that goes down.
Yeah, I mean,
radio communications
Radio,
are the most
GPS.
susceptible.
I mean, how many people still use a paper map? You know what I'm saying? How many people got a compass right now?
I'm sure a lot of the listeners on this channel here watching on Survival Dispatch, y'all know how to read a grid map.
Yeah.
That was something that we were taught as kids, but I'm willing to bet hardly any of the new generation have
Gen
any
Z,
idea.
Millennials are the last ones that know what a map legend is. They'd be like, "What's a legend? Is that a game or
Yeah.
do you get an upgrade for that?" Like,
Yeah, do I get skill points?
remember,
how to
you
read a
guys
legend?
remember like the Nokia, the indestructible Nokia, the first phone, like that somehow will survive. I'm pretty sure. I don't know
Yeah.
how, but it will.
First of its kind, built-in EMP and CME protection.
Yeah, that's real. And
But right now we're sitting at a foundational level. Everything's got to be protected, and it's really hard to pick and choose where to go. But if I had to throw it out there, well, then where should we start, Mike? Who should protect equipment first? The power companies. First
Yeah.
and foremost,
Yeah.
the power companies need to invest in this technology to protect all of their substations, all of the panels and electrical equipment in the facilities where the power is made, and then it has to go to all the transformers.
Yeah.
But again, the grassroots movement, we need to start with our individual homes, our individual cars, and show the government, show the states that, hey, we're aware of this and we're doing our part on our end. However, all of this money that we give the power companies every month, we're all in the same boat. We all got an electric bill that we got to pay. They need to put money into this, and they need to do it right now. There's no more waiting. That we're literally sitting at the red zone, and we don't know what that date is when the next event is going to hit.
Yeah. They just literally say between 24 and 25. So this is an immediate action. That's why we're pushing this so hard. We're hitting every event we can to bring it to the people, and also getting in front of power companies and saying, hey, let's make this work. Because I lost my power for like 5-6 hours in Denver, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to cook all this meat. And it got me thinking, like, man, if this was out for a week, what do you do? I mean, that's what do you do? All the grocery stores wouldn't be able to keep anything cool, and you basically go fishing and hunting at that point. So it's a real thing, and we need to educate people and say this is something that needs to happen.
And it's not that expensive to get yourself protected either.
No, if you've done all that work to have an alternate power system at your house, you're talking 10 to 15 grand.
At least, yeah.
And, we got a house package that's $999.
$997 for one panel. What do you pay for a generator? Your typical gas powered generator that you can roll out of your garage and plug in. Costco, you can get one for like $1,000. So you figure you got a $50,000 solar system on your house. Maybe you got 10 grand in batteries and inverters. That stuff's going to be useless unless you put a device in your panel. $997 installed. You can get into the other packages. The whole home is a little under $3,000, but it ensures that your generator is going to work, your batteries are going to work, and everything's still going to give you power. If a lot of these guys watching, you're into this for what, $3 grand, $5 grand, $10,000, another $997 to get your panel protected, and some short change after that for your solar or your generator. It's short money to make sure everything you've already invested in is still going to function.
Yeah, and you think about it. The military did this 10 years?
10 years ago. The military's been insulating their bases and their vehicles for at least a decade now. That's why this executive order came to be. Is they're like, okay, we're pretty solid on insulating our equipment. We might as well put this out to the public and tell them they have to do it as well.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. That's what we need to do. And that's why we're here. EMP Pro is here to bring this to the community and protect as many people as we can.
If you want some more information, you can go to EMPpro.com. You can see a full list of all of the packages that we provide. That pricing is good in the entire United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. If you'd like to go on and buy a device and do it yourself, we encourage you to get these devices installed by any means necessary. So if you're a DIY person and you want to do it yourself, you can go to EMPshield.com. You can use our promo code EMPPRO50 and save $50 off each device that you buy, and you can put the stuff in yourself. We really don't care how it gets done. We want people to get these devices, get them installed as fast as you can.
Yeah, that's true.
So we will have some exclusive giveaways, again, at the Tanner Gun Show in Colorado Springs this weekend, June 14th, 15th, and 16th. We'll have 3 cool survival packs that we're going to give away each day, with the grand prize being drawn on June 1st or July 1st on the Blackout broadcast. So that's just a small way for us to get it out there and give some stuff away, spread the word, and help people get protected.
Yeah. But what's in those packages? Do we know all the ins and outs of all those giveaways?
So the Sunday package is the big dog. It's a military-style backpack with some survival food in it, some life straws, flint sticks, shovel, first aid kit, paracord, a couple of different knives. So that's the creme de la creme for the daily giveaway. And then Friday and Saturdays is just a smaller pack,
version. Yeah.
smaller version of the pack we're going to give away on Sunday.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah,
Guys should
Father's
definitely
Day,
come
you know?
check out.
Father's Day weekend, and lots of free popcorn. Please come and eat some popcorn. If not, we're going to have 150 pounds of popcorn seed that we're hauling back to Denver.
Yeah, and all you got to do to enter to win is just subscribe to the Blackout Broadcast channel on YouTube.
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to be a good time. Tanner Gun Show is always a good time, man.
Yeah, and just make sure you answer your phone when we call, because if not, we're gonna go on to the next person.
Yeah, he's kidding. We'll send out, so whoever wins, we'll send out a text, an email, and if we don't get a response off that, we will extend a phone call. So that's why when you give us your information, your name, phone number, email address, and then subscribe to the Blackout Broadcast channel, that's how you enter to win. You can get one of 3 prizes, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And if you do win the prize Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you're still entered into the grand prize of the Total Home Package giveaway that we will announce July 1st on the Blackout Broadcast. We appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you the next time. Thanks
See
for watching.
ya.
Later.